This is the Alex Ansary Nightly News, take 2. Now, when the comments are open, that is the time to show support in consciousness. And in the 20 years that I've done this, right, that I've been creating content, I've got an overall sampling of where men are at. I know where women are at. I'm a heterosexual male, shorter than average height, who's very spiritual, who's not a bad boy. I know where women are at. But really, I know where men are at. And men right now are not quality reporters. Men that I really don't know of any quality men in my personal audience that are masculine, that talk to me on a regular basis or even on a monthly basis. They're very here today, gone tomorrow. I really understand the rage of women feeling used by men. And so you need to understand this is not an anti-woman, pro-man show. The men that are in my audience have not shown up on time. They're very poor communicators behind the scenes via email, and they're very pissy like women. And they're very feminized in the fact that a lot of them demand either an anarchist or almost satanic anti-God worldview or Trump. Don't know of any Biden ones. So the point is this: men can learn a lot from me, as I have faced a lot of hardships that they have not. And so men can easily, and we'll finish up quickly and get in the news once we have our first viewer. Men can easily see me as autistic, mentally retarded, handicapped, lots of negative things because they don't have the life experience, right, that I have. Okay. And I realize that I can talk for hours and hours and hours and years, and it really goes in one ear, out the other. All right. So with that, I'm going to cover the news. These newscasts are like no other, and that we're talking about SOAR maximum and violence soaring. And so in the last video, I was ranting over videos and discussing the importance, although MMA is valuable, of the knockout punch, and the video wasn't playing. So understand, I'm doing this without a producer. I'm not able to monitor always the view screen when I have multiple pages open. Later on, production may get better if I start running things through open broadcasting software. I would love to work with at least one person. Would be great, would be have a female manager, somebody that can book interviews for me. I'm not the friendliest or most social person out there. And so it's not easy for me to say, get along with Lisa Lyon of Coast to Coast AM. Hello, first person. Okay, you're assigned. We're ready to get started. I like to do intros about 3 minutes and 33 seconds. And so in conclusion, my arm is really hurting. I've worked out like 10 or 11 days in a row. So I want people to know that my energy is so fucking high right now from me being in the sauna every day for an hour. My workouts are like 2 hours a day, and I talk often at 2025 Countdown with euphoria. So what other people see as mental illness, like the guy that just commented, that's very hurtful. I'm an athlete. You can even call me a jock. Okay, I'd like to see where you're at with your fitness videos. All you had was like a demon face. Okay, you had nothing going on there. And so a lot of you men that aren't masculine, you live in a dark world where you like to vampire on my content, and when you comment, it's difficult to ascertain, are you like a good person? Are you a demon? Are you a CIA agent? Ultimately, trolls exist in our world to take away our light and distract us from our teachings, from getting to our deeper truths. Okay, that's the big purpose of it, and to distract us from anything that would boost our confidence. Okay, and that's the superpower that a lot of women have that they haven't yet activated, i.e. their DNA, sending complimentary emails on the positive things that they are learning. It's just something that they have a block on. But I know why. The more and more you people become addicted to this screen, and it's documented. A lot of you conspiracy theorists are actually behind on science. The less empathetic you are, the more apathetic you are, meaning the very conspiracy that many of you purport to be against, you allow. Through the deeper addiction to YouTube, you allow the unthinkable. Through the addiction to screens and inability to be real friends, you allow the unthinkable. Okay, so understand, you are to learn from this news. You're not the outsider looking in. This is your world. This is my world. This is your town. This is that town. It's the same. Portland, Dallas, LA, Seattle, Washington, D.C., Miami. Come up with a major crime center. San Antonio, Austin's turned into a shithole. Spokane, Washington, Salem, Oregon. Did I mention Denver? Yeah, Denver, Colorado Springs, Nashville, Tennessee. You have just all these horrible things that are erupting with cell phones running the show. Now, thank you for being here. I don't mean to get upset and think things out on my audience. And I need to make sure that you can see this camera, the video, because I don't have a producer. So let's start now. Again, I do not smoke regular strong grade marijuana. I do not drink alcohol. I do not smoke cigarettes. I do get offended when people think I'm crazy or screwed up for being brilliant. Some of you in 2024, you've regressed IQ-wise. Whereas some of you that I knew in 2002 or 3 or 4, you were able to keep speed and not being able to see your eyeballs, what drugs you're on or not on. I don't know the true state of your consciousness in many cases. And so just this type of back and forth with you, you need to acknowledge it is transhumanism that we're walking into. Look at China. These people are like doing this, get on. It's a sad thing, not an awesome thing what they're doing. So this tube thing that we've got going on is not a real revolution. The real revolution would start in your own grassroots if people would have you. That doesn't mean that you can do everything. You know that they don't really like me here, right? I come back to you, who doesn't really like me all that great either, who I yell at, because I still rate you higher than them because you're listening at least. All right, play the video.
Hawaii has not been seen or heard from in nearly 2 weeks. Hannah Kobayashi's family says she was on her way to New York.
I'm resisting
but missed her
the urge to
connecting
talk over.
flight at LAX on November 8th. Since then, her family has received what
I'm
they
resisting the
call
urge to get too spiritual too. Just play the news.
from Hannah, but now nothing. So adding to the mystery, police tell her family the 31-year-old has been spotted on surveillance video in downtown LA and was last seen at the metro stop about a block from where the Lakers play with an unidentified.
I have considered full abstinence of all things, but I get really angry if I don't have anything to relax. And I am almost 45. Some of you don't know that, need to be reminded that I'm not as young as you might assume that I am. So I have naturally occurring. That's the bully boy part of your society. As I get older, you know, discrimination against me is going to go up, whether it be my mental health, my mood, doesn't matter, my baldness, doesn't matter what it is. And then somebody said something mean to me last week about my age being against me. You're older than me. And it really hurt. And she knew it hurt. That's why she did it. It's like when you give women info about your weaknesses and vulnerabilities into your heart, you know, it's like that song Coming Straight On For You, or that song by Bon Jovi, You Give Love a Bad Name.
So that's where News Nation's Nancy
Or
Wu,
what we could say in this case for the truth movement, consciousness and truth. You give truth and Starseed a bad name.
joins us live. Nancy, her
You
family
give Starseed a bad name.
really centering their search for Hannah around that arena.
That's right, Nicole. And her family tells me even more relatives have arrived in LA and a rally is planned.
By the way, I saw a MILF the other day, Latina, over 40. Real nice seeing older women in shape.
This afternoon,
I bet her husband's so lucky.
OutsideCrypto.com arena. And I want to show you that is just steps away from the metro station where
Hannah. What was she doing there? Who was she talking to?
Was seen on surveillance over a week ago now. And according to her aunt, who saw the unreleased footage from this area, Hannah is not alone in the video. She does not look well, and she's in the same clothing she was wearing when she arrived at LAX from Maui on November 8th. Earlier sightings have been at the Grove Shopping Center, where Hannah last posted to
AMTV probably has a video about it.
Instagram from a Nike event on November 10th. In a video obtained by the family, Hannah is seen strolling through the event that day, wearing headphones, and relatives especially concerned over those text messages.
So listen, pause. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. Thank you for listening, all three of you. And the reason I'm doing this, and there may be people that troll me. It's okay to be trolled because I'm going to have new subscribers. Okay. What hurts is if you've been around for a while, you're a male and you haven't grown up yet behind juvenile behavior, because I never liked juveniles. I never liked young males. I always liked older people, but I was never touched by them. In other words, when I was a little kid, it was adults that I liked, not kids. And some of you that are adults act like kids. Okay, you know what I mean? And I want people to act like adults, okay, not kids. One person just dropped out. Maybe you had to pick up your kids from church or financial video, maybe jail. The point is this. I want to see a greater level of maturity in my audience in the comment section. And right now it's below a passing grade. It's very rare for people to comment. And yet my info has never been more hardcore and more relevant. So let's begin. How many times have you heard me warn about headphones? Thousands of times, right? Bluetooth headphones. I literally am about to write no Bluetooth literally on. So I am right that modern incarnated women that are walking amongst us in our culture are lower than average intelligence with regards to women's safety and peripheral awareness. As far as the headphones, I see it at the gym, and they're really good at turning it up so they don't hear what you're saying. So they don't hear the attacker coming, right? They're very resistant. And I've ranted about women that have headphones that don't realize that attacks are coming. I've ranted about it in front of women, and they think that I'm crazy, okay? They think that I'm crazy. I don't think that they would remember that I ranted about that. They just hear a man yelling and think that I'm the threat. That's a demon, okay? So she should not have had headphones on. They were likely Bluetooth that put her into an altered state. Now, whether it was karma or someone that she met or something else, we don't know. I don't assume that everybody did something wrong, but if I did something wrong or was accused, people do tend to blame me. I am in disagreement with the part of our society that constantly blames people. But I do look at things like karma and bad decisions that are made, okay? So we have lots of stories about this.
Messages you just saw from Hannah's phone on November 11th, one stating, I got hacked, stripped of my identity, I can't fly, and another saying, I got tricked pretty much into giving away all my funds for someone I thought I loved. I've been on the streets. According to Hannah's aunt, the wording in the text is suspicious.
Well, I am very psychic. I am very right. Someone left the broadcast, but they're missing out on this. But some of you will come later. Every broadcast, every show, we need really a third person. We'll wait. I'm kidding. I'm noticing stuff that I'm psychically we have a third person. So what did she just say? Let's go back again. She met somebody that she thought she loved. Okay, so we are dealing with people that are not women, that are not choosing to become spiritual and access their psychic abilities and get the warning from God. I'm saying this over and over, and some people get insulted when I say that. The point is, become spiritual, okay, center, do yoga for the right reasons, call down the Godhead and get a download. Don't just do yoga to develop that ass and then show that ass on a dating app. You thought you loved him because he played the game. He showed you this and that. Go in the text. There needs to be deep dives into every aspect of the conversation, every aspect of psychology. Who did you talk to? What was offered? What did you go there? Were you going to model? Yes or no? Well, you're going to model, because right now in America, being a model, a stripper, escort, prostitute, or normalized prostitute, which is the average woman, is dangerous. You understand? In that sense, I am prophetic, and many men that are lower conscious in that, just like conspiracy trash, find me and vomit when they see how much time and effort I'm giving into warming women. They don't understand this isn't about pussy. This is about me getting and incarnating and graduating off of earth, while some of you may or may not be recycled because you did not heed the warning from God. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not this. That means you're going to be a part of this. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. I want to make sure that you're getting this. All right.
The streets.
New story.
According to Hannah's aunt, the wording in the text is suspicious, and the phone has been off since November 11th. Now they're just fighting, fearing the worst.
That's true. It could be a text from her, but likely she may have met someone. This is ongoing with people going somewhere, or she may not have met someone. She may have been trafficked.
Terrified. We're thinking, now we're...
But she may not have necessarily told them where she was going. We have a story here. Amazon truck driver kills woman, keeps delivering.
It is truly tragic.
Looking at the story and looking at an Amazon truck driving by.
Had just left a cemetery when she was struck and killed.
Again, there are many women all the time going overseas to meet men that are offering them trinkets. This is a big deal.
This is the Canton Cemetery along Cumming Highway. 79-year-old
hardline approach and say that all women are evil or deserving of this. That I'm concerned about angel souls being harmed, hunted down and stalked. I'm afraid that, God may be calling some of us home. We just don't know what God's plan is for us, but not everybody. We can't say that. And that's really sad that people in this world, when they hear about someone harming the news, do it. Someone's crying, he didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve this. Why do people feel like they have to say that? Because we live in a world where people assume things. Okay. And they assumed all that stuff about the people of Afghanistan. They deserve to die. They were terrorists. They assumed that. They assumed this about the Iraqis. This society has a history of assuming the worst when it's doing the victimization. So keep that in mind in your construct, that this society and world has brought to its doorstep a lot of destruction. Unfortunately, people are going to find me on this channel because of my previous content that are not awake and don't care about the victims of war and don't care about morality. So they're basically not really hip. A lot of mainstream conspiracy people are the truth that I'm saying. A lot of them, their whole ills is the Harris, Biden, immigrants, Muslims, and a few media figures. They're in a very maniacal, satanic circus where Trump can do no wrong. It's really psychopathic. And they keep clamoring for a police state to fix everything, instead of realize the systematic oppression of the system that is creating criminals out of thin air, including this guy. And at the same time, Amazon will hire people out of the pen, which is nice, right? For people to be able to have a job out of the pen. But Amazon and those types of jobs are jobs where people can snap. And so it isn't necessarily the best job. It's not a good job. It's a bad job.
Just left. Only
So
a short
hit and run death of a 79-year-old woman. Was she white?
way from her destination, her old house. But folks here know this is a dangerous walk,
Yeah.
particularly at night.
Not the safest of roads to be walking on.
This is the Amazon truck the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office says hit Fitz, killing her at the scene
The husband was nearby.
while she walked at 6:30 in the evening.
There was evidence in the roadway that indicated that this was going to be an Amazon vehicle. It was a Rivian parked. It was in the roadway. One of the deputies remembered seeing an Amazon truck turn down a nearby road.
And that's where they found the driver. Deputies have now charged 24-year-old London Best with vehicular homicide in the first degree and hit and run resulting in a death. Amazon released a statement saying, quote, "We're deeply saddened by this incident, and our thoughts are with the victim's family and loved ones during this difficult time. We'll support local police as they investigate."
Had he not left the scene, then the charges would be different. I mean, and likely wouldn't have any felonies. But
Here is where the deputies caught the driver, less than a mile away on Bishop Drive.
he was delivering a package.
Rami Lobb sees Amazon trucks over here daily and can't believe this.
So there's an increase in hit and the run stories where people are hit, and sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not, but there are a certain amount of them that are absolutely intentional.
Tech way, and she's in a region with more.
Ex-boyfriend
Suzanne
accused of luring doctor
Marie
to his
Jim,
home,
2 orders of protection, then a
killing her in
parenting
front of their
agreement. Court
child.
documents show Dr. Olga Dushan tried to work things out, father of her child, before Barrington police
So
say
with solar flares, I've been warning women that more people are lashing out, and out of 8 billion, this is what my card says, and I'm just going to go over it with you for those of you that are lower than average IQ, especially those of you that broke my heart that are in the audience that haven't yet fucked off. Okay, that'll come here later. Your world is being controlled, in case you forgot, cunt, by an evil that is focused on destroying much of humanity. Did I tell you? Did I not tell you, Susan? I'm the only man, am I not, out of 8 billion? Tell me who else. Tell me, bitch, who has connected specific dots. Oh, don't act like you're offended. Fuck off. Regarding the periods which the sun is most active. Girl, you know it's true. And explosive wars, rapes, on and on. All right? Urban violence in our society as well as spiritual awakenings. Who else but me do you have on the earth that mixes those topics together? Exactly. I have every right to be more than I'm pissed now. Mark Pastio pissed, and then some salt and pepper. Of course, one of you would bounce out because you weren't meant to be here to begin with. Your world is about to be destroyed, and it's time you woke up. Not going back to sleep, but woke the fuck up, cunt. And I have more answers than you will ever know. So what are you doing to fight human trafficking if you're a woman? If you're a man who's hanging on me and you think I'm anti-woman, what are you doing to rise above using women and fornicating with them and getting blowjobs and actually doing something to expose what TikTok's doing to their brains? Okay, we have a lot of people doing this to me, closing their eyes, and it's pissing me off. Roll clip.
murdered her.
Prosecutors say William
In other words, I told you so.
Zentek asked his ex-girlfriend to come to his home in Barrington on November
And
17th.
because she wasn't psychic and she didn't use a pendulum, and didn't find my video, she did not use the pendulum to ascertain if he was going to shoot her in the head. Whereas if she did, then she would have made the proper decisions. Do you understand the words that come out? Do you speak English?
So they could talk. Instead, they say Zentek fractured Dr. Olga Dushan's skull with a baseball
And we got
bat.
another person to leave. That's exactly how it's, but again, the average duration of the average person is short level. So am I right to complain? Answer now. We're going to put the vote.
and then shot her in the chest.
We're dealing with people that are at Shorts level.
Dushan, a well-respected
Only
endocrinologist,
in hell would have to break down and message you a series of 1-minute bites. I mean, seriously, people literally don't read books anymore.
wrote to members of the Ukrainian Medical Association about weight loss medication Sunday, just a short time before she was killed.
Weight loss
The
medication.
board-certified doctor had a practice in Mundelein, specializing in internal medicine, endocrinology, and obesity medicine. Prosecutors say the beloved physician was murdered in front of her 3-year-old daughter.
There's a lot of that going
In
on.
December of 2021, Dushan filed the second of 2 orders of protection against Zentek, saying he should have no communication with her and stay away from her at all times, at least 200 feet. 4 days later, this agreed order was entered, where both parties were in agreement to resolve matters without further litigation. In June of 2022, Dushan and Zentek entered into this allocation of parental responsibilities and parenting plan when their daughter was 18 months old. At that time, it was decided the maximum involvement and cooperation of each parent regarding the physical, mental, moral, and emotional well-being of the child is in the best interests of the child. And both were to work together to that end.
Now, a judge ordered Zentek to remain in custody. He's scheduled to appear in court again next month. His lawyer claims Zentek killed Dushan in self-defense and that she had a gun. We reached out to Barrington Police to confirm that.
Susan,
we're still waiting.
We'll get it going on again. I'm kidding, bro. Man, we're done. You're hanging out with some nasty dude anyway. Point is, I need a woman to massage this right here. I need to get one of them tools. No, not that tool. The other tool. There you go, honey. Right here, and just work it. You know, I think some of you ladies are a little too loosey-goosey with, you know, no. My advice, if you really want to, you know, pretend to be moral and stuff, would be, you know, Googling healing touch, tantric, things of that nature. A lot of you never got a lesson with the real man in the bedroom. It's unfortunate you've suffered so greatly. But you have found your way to this channel, so you are blessed by the Creator that you're not totally brain dead, just partially. So hopefully we can meditate for you, do a little gong bell, upgrade your DNA to where you have compassion for others and that you understand. And also ask yourself, what mother, what woman, rather, would do that to a child? Or rather, where art thou? What type of spirit is inside the body of that female? Roll clip.
Faces a murder charge in the drowning death of her 14-year-old daughter.
Well, she was Dave McDaniel is live at the.
It's like there's 3 of us here. It's like we're a powwow, 4. And it's like when I was at the yoga studio today, there was like 3 or 4 chicks in there with me. No, there's like 4 of us, like, yeah, together. So like we're Voltron or something. Fuck everybody else. If we 3 or 4 of us could figure out just a few things, we could rule or save the world, whichever came first.
The County Sheriff's Office right now with what we are learning from new court documents.
Oh, we have a mom sent to prison for fatally shooting 2
really
sons.
Announced this assault arrest. He said that the woman who was allegedly assaulted was actually trying to protect a 14-year-old girl from her own mother. Now that mother faces an additional criminal charge in her daughter's death.
Well, how could a person, unless it has a sick mind, do that to a young girl?
A neighbor who didn't want to be identified, reacting to the latest details about the scene.
Just remember the other story we did, 25 countdown of the woman that put her child on Tinder for men to come over and fuck the 1-year-old. You know that, right? That's happening. That's not anti-woman to go, don't let your baby get raped. You know, there's a whole bunch of little boys getting raped. And then person who I won't say his name, he was on this show before he turned on me because I went too deep into criticizing porn. Now I'm back to criticizing porn and attempting the no porn diet. He claimed his mother did something to him. I think that Daniel Mackler, the psychiatrist therapist, claims he was molested by his mother, whereas my mother didn't physically molest me, but certainly did in my brain.
It's down the block.
There are parents out there that seem to get dopamine or neurotransmitter chemical highs from abuse when they weren't necessarily abused themselves. It's like, you know, I mean, I can't trace that my mom was abused. In other words, there's some souls that are so corrupt, they're spoiled, they're treated right when they're a child. When they get their hands on a child, they have like I'm an archon. And then it's not going to surprise me that once I got involved in discussing the archons, they're like, archons? Way before David Icke was well known talking about the archons, I got involved. He started adopting the term after reptilian. What I'm saying is I'm an early riser, not only each day, but with topics, right? And then others later on steal my shit or vampire, come up with the conclusion themselves and then become popular. Like in the future, there might be like a famous sword flare person who gets credit, like, some white woman avatar, some Sadhguru video, you already look up sword flare effective humans, right? It won't come up on Google, but if you look up Alexander Chizetsky, my book does come up.
And to be honest with you,
when 35-year-old Kelsey Glover was let off to jail, it was for
what a beautiful, look at that face.
Aggravated assault on her roommate.
She's a goddess. She's a goddess.
The roommate
saying, the whole thing, these places make people crazy, though. You know that, right? And the drugs, you know that, right? The system makes people crazy. Oh, I'm going for hours.
Her 14-year-old head underwater in the bathtub, and that Glover first pushed the roommate, then chased her.
Watch pro wrestling videos, and later have Vince McMahon threaten my life and take me down for accusing him of killing the Ultimate Warrior.
Out of the bathroom with a hammer when the roommate.
No, what I need is wacky tobacco. Then I can calm down. You people in the audience are nuts. Some of you. I need wacky tobacco. You give me wacky tobacco, everything's spiritual. Oh, Money Padra, we're kicking back. Oh, dude, it's chill. Dude's having a good day. See, that's what you people don't understand about real abstinence. This is dry. Dry is fuerte, power. You want me to tone it down a notch? That's the indica, bro. Sativa is the middle, the hybrid, and then you have sativa, which is upper for the regular stuff, right? So if you want me being like, oh, life is good, I'm feeling the enlightenment, that is something that needs to be chemically enhanced. You understand? Yeah. I do not live in Oregon. I live in hell.
What mother?
Many of you live the high life, and you have not articulated to me the depths of pain that you're going through as a truth. They're exposing the war on whitey, black people, Afghan people, exposing China, solar flares. When you're at that level, you're shadow banned. Women don't want to date you. Women don't want to massage you. Women don't want to email you. Women know you don't have, quote, come on, fill in the word, search with an S, 6 letters, ends with S. Come on, ladies, you can do it. Come on, status. You got it. Put them on the glass. I am anti-status, anti-materialism. I am not singing the lyrics to Material Girl unless I'm mocking the Cuddle House in 2014.
That to a child, a sick child, honestly.
In fact, court documents say the 14-year-old was sick and says Glover was to blame. The affidavit saying the victim was type 1 diabetic and had an electric pump that administers insulin attached to her body. The roommate saying Glover stopped giving the teen her insulin on Monday, and by Wednesday, the victim became sick, vomiting, and eventually bedridden. The roommate told investigators Kelsey Glover would keep the victim in the master bedroom with music playing to drown out her screams for help. The roommate said Glover asked for help getting the child to the bathroom.
So there are parents there. It's not necessarily just anti-man or woman. And again, my PSA, I don't need to upload it to old channels. If you go to 2025 Countdown, I filmed the critical part of American Horror Story, and now I know what I can do again to avoid copyright, is to film the video and put my hands over it to show you how in pop culture, next clip, Kentucky mom sentenced to life in prison for shooting her 2 sons, to show you how that's a pretty good series, American Horror Story Season 7, and showing you, I want to call it predictive programming, but an artist's rendition of what our world is or future could be.
Delivered today to Tiffany Lucas.
Cults, satanic murder cults, for all different types of people, cunts, bitches, assholes, jerk-offs, left and right or in, lesbian, straight. And it exemplified that, and it became an anti-man cult, but it was really about creating even more violence. So you have like Crips versus Bloods. So the whole man versus woman war and harming children is really a Satan war on humanity. You see where I'm going with this? Broken parents that harm their children. Oh, and the 2 of you just left, but that's okay. For 2 of you that leave, 5 shall replace you.
Yes, the Bullitt County mother who shot and killed her 2 boys. Our Ian Hardwick and photojournalist Addie Hill spent the morning in the courtroom. And some of the family we spoke to said that life sentence did not go far enough.
Do you think I should email her? Do you think she'd take a card? I am warning the world about your dad. Evil will be struck down. I am not to be fucked with. I'm coming for your dad. Hey, lady, you want to? No, literally, I'm going to play the clip from Little Buddha with Keanu Reeves. That whole thing was Siddhartha and the 3 temptations of Maya, the lust, the threats, the praise, all that and more I've dealt with at the gym. Not so much threats, but eyeballing, whatnot. Giant dudes with American flag bandanas taking my weights off the gym, not knowing whether I'm mentally ill or fucking with me. Oh, I'm sorry.
successful. The affidavit ends with the investigator saying Glover should face premeditated.
The boy's family members said during victim testimony that they wanted Lucas to go away with life without parole. After this, she's eligible for parole within the next 20 years. Throughout the court hearing this case, Lucas's lawyers insisted the mother of two was having a psychotic episode. That came back up during closing arguments where they said Lucas believed her kids were the targets of a child sex trafficking conspiracy. The boys' families shook their heads at that, saying even if her mental break was brought on by drugs, trafficking conspiracy. The boys' families shook their heads at that, saying even if her mental break was brought on by drugs, Lucas brought it on herself. Bobby Baker, Maurice's aunt, cared for little boy.
That's unusual, isn't it?
Jaden, too, and says she'll be at every parole hearing going forward.
The only peace I have in this is knowing that.
Understand what type of person works out 10 days without stopping? A person who is traumatized, who literally has to beat out the stress every day because he's not married. My life is just.
You can't hurt them anymore.
My arms hurt, man. I hurt that back, man. And what do? I do it all for you. It's like I'm about to start singing 80 songs from Wham for you.
And
everything I do for you. Dun, dun. All that bodybuilding energy, all that lifting weights. You think I'm fighting fucking people out there in the streets? I do it all for you, honey. All that energy. Don't you ever think, how does this person do this? I literally beat myself up physically to be able to come to you every day with the fire in my belly to fight demons. Do you understand, honey? Do you understand how much I'm fighting every day? No, I'm not. I'm crying like her.
Nobody's gonna ever be able to fix my brother's heart.
I literally was watching Death Wish 2 and how to stop the rape scene because it was so violent. The movie came out in 1982. I was only a baby then. I was 2 years old, and our world was already screwed up when I was 2. That's fucked up. I was born into hell. I was born into fucking bondage. I'm crying like her every fucking day at the fucking gym. People see that I'm crying, and nobody's crying at the gym but me. I'm the only person who's acting like I'm not in that movie Equilibrium, where they go, shh, and they don't have emotions. Let's find that clip. Let's find that clip before we leave here today. Make sure it hasn't happened to you.
Nobody can fix that.
Only God. But are you going to tell the truth?
Baker's brother, Maurice's father, took
I'm
the
not
stand.
saying you're not. I'm just saying to this court.
And in a last-minute change of heart today in the courtroom, saying Lucas kept his kid away from him since the day he was born. And although the courtroom,
well, the attention of 3 people so far. We have a couple stragglers that keep coming and going. We don't know what they're doing, but we just need to push their stuff to the side room.
Family members of those boys applauded as Lucas went away to serve that life sentence behind bars. They know their pursuit of justice will last as long as she's having those parole hearings.
You're like,
now I'm live in Shepherdsville. Ian Hardwick, WHAS 11. On
You're probably
side.
like, this guy is
My schedule. This meeting got canceled. Hooray! We didn't really want to go anyways, but now I have a free afternoon and 1,000 things.
I was
The
commenting
big story on Action News tonight is
that you weren't seeing it, so it seemed like I was hallucinating. So somebody not knowing that would be like, this dude's fucked up. You weren't seeing the screen. Now we came back and you're seeing the screen.
teenagers. Philadelphia police are behind a series of violence.
What I was talking about, knock them out. I'm not attacking MMA. I'm sure I'm going to hear about it later. Oh no, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has all the answers to deal with these guys. Really? Because I'm going to Google it one of these days. Okay, 7 of them. That's a nasty 7. When you see a gang of 7, Luciferians. 7 can be good. 7, but 7.
Random attacks.
Hit the one in the middle.
This is the group here. Investigators say approached 4
led by a woman.
Victims
led by a woman with pink booty shorts. No, pink boots.
All within the span of 1 hour last Tuesday.
Okay, it's time to get the
One
video.
of the attacks in Center City, a 24-year-old woman was so badly beaten,
they beat up a white girl probably.
Required treatment at the hospital. Action News reporter Chad Perdelli live at police headquarters tonight.
See,
Chad, some of the suspects we understand are
Don't
just.
think that black teens won't get killed later by roving white teens later. I'm not playing this anti-white card. I'm saying some white teens will respond because they're young to perceived attacks. It's not racist to talk about tribalism with teenagers. Teens are like this. I've seen the whites versus the blacks fight in school. Come on.
13 years old.
Yeah, Brian.
The other day, teens were driving by where I'm at honking. It was very disruptive. I find young people to be highly disrespectful sometimes. Although I hear the excuse, it's holidays, Thanksgiving, whatever, man. People get harmed over that stuff.
They say all of the defendants are between 13 and 15 appeared to come from solid, good families.
But together, the Archons take them over. Yeah?
The good school.
Yeah. So it's not discrimination. It's not discrimination for a person or a woman seeing a group of a number of people for her animal to maybe clutch her purse closely, and she's not being racist if she realizes that there's anger towards women, and the man not be racist if he's been punched before by that group. I've already been attacked by a group of 3 to 4 black teens, and they got away with it. They only hit me and kicked me in my stomach, but they never got arrested, and fortunately I haven't been knocked out. I haven't had any bones broken. When I told it to A-Man once, he looked at me and glared at me, and I came to understand over time that he really has been on the dark side, and I alienate martial arts people for my spirituality. And I'm sometimes talked to privately like I have problems for assuming that about MMA people, but have yet to see how the BJJ crowd has an anti-war bone in it. And there is a natural inclination for not smart MMA people to develop right-wing attitudes and anti-Demism attitudes without taking their tough guy persona and actually fighting evil. So I'm very, very different than MMA people. And they look down upon me when they go in to do MMA and they see me in the back. It's like they're of a different school of thought, and they're all thinking to take me down with MMA. And to me, it's very rapey. And really, the knockout punch, I feel, let me get back to the video, is necessary. I've heard a lot of stories from my friend, the A-Man, who is the closest thing to my dad. He bounced at nightclubs in Portland, Oregon. He dealt with big black guys, okay, that would come up and test him in the club and had to knock them up and was beat up in school. Okay, and so when I see stuff like that, it takes me to memories of him talking about the 90s, working in retail, and having to take on mobs of people, flash mobs before cell phones. Okay, so there is a value in that. That's pre-MMA. That is martial arts boxing. It has a value. And men that haven't worked in those lifestyles and haven't faced those things because they're not really victims, and thank God they're not, and their family. But if it ever does come, I don't believe yet, haven't been convinced that MMA can handle a group of 7. I don't believe it. And I think you have to train for it. And I think I've given you and shown you. Listen, it doesn't matter if you can't, you should try to incorporate certain exercise, ladies, into your yoga and your boxing and your this and that.
We believe that she's the leader of this group.
When it was over in an hour, police say the group attacked 2 men and 2 women. Police released these images. We're blurring the faces because all the defendants are juveniles, ranging in age from 13 to 15. But within 2 days, after asking for the public's help, all the juveniles had turned themselves into police with their parents.
The parents were right on point. They saw that their kids did something wrong on Wednesday, and on Friday they turned their kids in. So I can't ask more than that. They're very cooperative.
The teens face assault, conspiracy, and other charges. Police don't have a motive. None has a prior criminal record. Their names are not being released because of their age.
They have no record, so we have to kind of dig into it.
And do you see and admit, those of you, that it's feminized to look down on one-on-one martial arts training when you don't have an MMA club or trusted spiritual people to roll on the ground with for hours and be sweaty and stuff? Sorry, guy, but I don't think I want to roll around with a group of 7 people. I'm going to have to go zap, zap, zap. Sorry, but I'm going to trust Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, A-Man, Bolo Young, and a whole host of fighters that have defended their wives from rapists on their bare fucking hands, including Superman. Now, can countless Hollywood movies, John Wayne, Burt Reynolds, be wrong? Was MMA around back in the day as it is right now? What I believe, and I won't stop, is it works within the cage of the confines of the rules of the match. The streets with unpredictability is a different situation. And I don't have an interest, and no spiritual man does, in octagon cage fighting. Period. There is literally like a purpose and not even like bothering to even go there. And there's so much aspect of the MMA culture that involves criminality, MMA, racism, McGregor being, and I just look at that story. He put the woman in a hotel room in a chokehold and sexually assaulted her. Okay, I'd rather work with a woman doing get up off the ground defense exercises, palm to palm, boxing exercises, rather than getting some random girl to do jujitsu with. That's sexual. I'd rather do that with a girlfriend. The truth is, there's a kinky side of a lot of humans, which is why a lot of them prefer MMA, right? And I know I'm being like, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying that. But, you know, people have looked down upon me, including my old girlfriend, for hitting the heavy bag for a long, long time. And I really think it's part of a deeper, unacknowledged, feminized aspect of this society, looks down upon an intelligent, spiritual, short-hand brown man that can move that bag more than they can. And it hurts the ego. I literally was glared at by a black man yesterday for hitting the heavy bag. And I said, stop killing my people. 9/11 was an inside job. Today, a Viking white guy took my plates off the hammer strength bench. It may have been an accident. It may have been mentally ill. How do I know? But I know there's forever chemicals in the drinking water, meaning no matter how intelligent I am, no matter how much news I give you, there is a big disconnect with a lot of you putting me into a leadership position. It's the biggest mistake you've ever made, but it will not be your last. We're going to be leaving this broadcast in a few minutes. As usual, if you want to thank me or help me out of the goodness of your soul and maybe try to bring me to the light, the comment section and giving Google and YouTube is not that place. You are to be a private person in the era of the psychic attack. You are to be a smart man. You are to be a smart woman who is my disciple, who is a viewer of mine, who may not be consumed by the 666 audience or frequency. Now, out of a poll that I give you, how many of you associate with being a fan? How many of you associate with a 6/6 frequency? Right now, just for your information, it's a 50-50 split. And a vast majority of you that tune into these live streams, you can't hang around the live streams too long, more than a few minutes. Only 3 of you have stuck around for the full ride, right? So out of many, many years of me trying to, groom isn't the right word, but educate, inform, train, develop your mind, nothing has been accomplished in the 20 years with any of you. You come and you go based on entertainment, but in the end, we have no conferences planned. We have no unity. People come and they go because attention spans are not doing great in this modern day of technology. So I will continue to give you advice on nutrition. I got a comment in from a male. He's probably a new one. I had no idea you talked about nutrition and diet. Well, if you want to hear more of it, you will hear more of it at 2025 Countdown. I just did a review on Lard's coffee, and the super fast talking nature that you're getting from me is not wacky tobacco. I'll show you what I take.
These kids do this.
And police say the teens go to the charter school Anthony Wayne Academy in Germantown. We reached out.
Being fast, being smart is not mentally ill. Being a powerful short-hand man is not being a terrorist. A lot of you have things like inverted, like a satanic pentagram, and you don't know the first thing about respecting somebody or a man or being complimentary because you're too much of this culture and world. You're basically a product of this society, if I have to put it out there bluntly. Bragg's True Energy. I took this today. Okay. It has jacked me up. Okay. I only drink one form of coffee. I never touch Starbucks. It's large superfood. And I've been drinking this all morning long since 2 a.m. I go and I go and I go, and I never fucking quit. I sleep 4 hours a fucking day. I make videos all day long. I never fucking stop truthing. I don't live a normal life. I don't go out to nightclubs. I don't smoke regular weed. I don't sleep around with regular women. I care and love what few people enter my life and tell them that. And fortunately, I do not have a bunch of women struggling to get my attention. Nobody is. A few times I'll open up the comments and a few people will come and go, but very rarely will there get an email. And when there is, it will most always be interference and will end up in some sort of an insult. So right now, you need to understand that this mental illness that's going on with society, you are not exempt from. There is a stark parallel that I'm seeing between the sharp rise in crime and the noticeable apathy from my audience to me. Till the next video, and we're going to start covering geopolitics more because we're getting very close to some major disruptions, and then the real pain is going to begin. Till next time, I'm Alex Ansary, reminding you, especially you motherfuckers in Portland, Oregon, the path to the ultimate truth and place of peace, and basically morality, saving yourself from hell, still lies within. See you in the next video, and we're getting closer and closer to our next World War III report. Stay tuned also at 2025 Countdown. Let's probably work on that next. I'm going to work on uploading my interview with Leon Legant, the man that had the visions many years ago in the 90s of the invasion of America by Chinese and Russian forces. We talked about it in 2007. Stick around. 2025 Countdown.